Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. So this week's video is going to be something that I haven't done in a little bit, and that is going to be story times with Imurgency. And trust me, this story is juicy. So as you can probably tell by the title, maybe not because it's probably clickbait, but today I'm going to be telling you guys about my first date. So before I actually get into the date, I feel like there needs to be a little preface, as there always does. So let me set the scene for you guys. So it's freshman year. Imagine freshman year Imurgency right now. Wait, actually, you don't have to. He's right here. So this story happened about a year after I broke up with my girlfriend over a pencil story happened. That was 8th grade, this was freshman year. It was a new year, a new me. At least that's what I thought. This year, I thought I was different. I thought I was the hottest kid on the block. I thought that I could pull anyone I wanted. I mean, just look at me. Look at me. Who wouldn't want to date this? Who wouldn't want to date freshman year Imurgency? Am I right? So naturally, I wanted a girlfriend. And luckily for me, that perfect girl was sitting right across from me in Miss Sullivan's English class. That's right. Shout out to you, Miss DB. And this girl's name was Julia. Don't worry, she gave me permission to use her name and everything. We're cool now. I'll get into that later. Now, all my friends were telling me that this girl would be perfect for me. We were both super funny. She was pretty. And we had a bunch of classes together. That's pretty much all it took to have my heart back then. Julia and I didn't just have English together. We had history and freshman seminar together. I had a whole 3 classes with her in which I had the chance to finesse her. And guess what I did? I didn't try to finesse her in any of those classes. Instead, I did what all freshmen do and hit her up in the DMs. Actually, I think this was before DMs. Wait, was it? How old am I? I did the next best thing and got her number and started texting her. So I remember that I never talked to her in school. I'd always give her glances and we'd say hi in passing in class, but we never actually talked. Most of our communication was over text during the nighttime. We'd have such intriguing conversations. I asked her how her day was, I always replied within seconds. Everything was pretty great, but I felt like I needed more. Thinking back on what was actually said in our conversations, it kind of seemed like Julia didn't like me that much. She'd always just send me pictures of what she was gonna wear the next day and be like, which one should I wear? And I always thought I was so special because I would get to choose my future girl's outfits for the next day. I got the sneak peek. But in reality, I bet she sent that text to all of her friends. So this went on for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Freshman time's kind of inconsistent. But eventually, I decided that I wanted to take this to the next level. I wanted to ask Julia on a date. So one evening, I get out my iPhone 4 and I decide that I'm going to pop the question.
Julia, would you like to go to the movies with me?
To which she replied,
sure, why not?
You don't understand. When I got that reply, I was pumped. I was doing my little dance all around the house. My parents thought I was crazy, but I didn't care. I was about to go to the movies with Julia. And the icing on the cake was that a few minutes later, I got a follow-up text that said,
wait, is this the date?
To which I replied,
yeah, I guess.
And then she replied,
okay, good. Winky face.
Winky face.
Oh! She put a winky face. This was the first time anyone showed me any form of affection. Like my parents? No. My ex-girlfriend? No. Julia with a winky face? Oh my God. That rocked my world. I was so excited. I remember I ran to my 6th grade brother and said, I'm going on a date. Up until that point, I have never been happier in my life. You don't understand. The winky face changes everything. Everything. So we decided to actually have the date that weekend, and throughout the week I am so pumped. I am so excited. I see Julia at school and I step it up. I'm a new person now. Instead of just looking at her and giving her a half smile, your boy's giving her all 32 pearly whites. When I saw her walking down the hallway, I was like, hi Julia. And when she walked by, I was like, she's mine. That's mine. Anyone else want her? No, she's mine. That's mine right there. I'm going on a date with her. I'm going to the movies with her. Fight me. Fight me. She's mine. I cannot begin to explain how excited I was to go on my first date. Oh my God. But then Friday rolled around. Morning before, I was so nervous to the point that I didn't even want to go anymore. But you know, mom didn't raise no quitter, so I stuck to it. So it's the day of the date. I arrived at the theater watching this movie called Black or White, which is kind of ironic for our first date because, you know, I look like this and she looks like this. So I walk into the theater and who do I see waiting in line? It's Julia. She's got her little makeup on, all dolled up, looking like a snack for our first date. I actually don't remember what I was wearing, but it definitely wasn't equivalent to what she was wearing. So I felt a little bad. So I met up with her in line. I bought her a movie ticket because, you know, I'm a gentleman. And we go into the theater. This is where the fun starts. We're just sitting there, we're a little bit early, the trailers are playing, and I personally feel so awkward because I've never actually said anything meaningful to this girl in person. We were just kind of sitting there making small talk, like, hey, are you excited for this movie?
Yeah, I hear it's pretty good.
Wow, that's cool. Basically just doing that until this one trailer comes on. I don't even know the name of this movie. It was this very explicit trailer about this farm couple falling in love. The situation between us was already awkward, so imagine how much more awkward it was to see this farm couple making out on the big screen. I mean, like, I looked over at her, she looked over at me, and we kind of just like... So eventually the movie actually does start. So if I'm being completely honest, I had no idea what this movie was about. I didn't read the synopsis because, as you already know, I was just excited to be with her. But apparently this movie was about race, and specifically the problems between an interracial couple. So watching this movie with my white date was quite awkward. So about halfway through the movie, I remember that I read somewhere on WikiHow that if you're going on a movie date, you need to hold your date's hand. But you know, your boy's awkward, so he doesn't really know how to initiate that. You know the armrest between the two seats? Where you're supposed to like put your hand, everyone gets their own armrest? I go to her armrest, and this is so creepy. So I put my pinky, I'm gonna give you a visual. So her hand's right here, laying on the armrest, and my hand's over here with my pinky out, inching towards her hand. And slowly over the process of like 5 minutes, I begin creeping my hand over to hers. And I remember we touched pinkies, and I got so nervous that I just left my pinky there for a little bit, just to warm up her hand a little bit. And then I bring this finger over, and by this time it's been like a good 10 minutes, so I've been trying to hold her hand. So, I hate telling this part. So our hands are like this, and she grabs my hand and is like,
I guess I have to make the first move then.
and my confidence just went like this. So now at least we're holding hands kind of, but we're both super nervous, so we're kind of like clutching each other's hands like this. And about 2 or 3 minutes into the hand holding, Julia goes,
Let my hand go, it's cramping.
so we unembrace. And we're both back to our pinkies laying on the armrest. Throughout the movie, we're basically on and off hand holding, because basically whenever a racially charged scene came on in the movie, I'd like remove my hand from the situation. But by the time the movie ended, I'm pretty sure that both of our hands were by our sides. 10 minutes before the movie actually ends, Julia pulls out her phone and she's like,
Oh, my dad's texting me, I have to go.
and I'm like, can you wait a little bit? The movie's almost over. And she's like,
Okay.
but we wait until the movie just starts ending. Like the end credits just start rolling and she's already booking it at the movie theater. So we get outside the theater and her dad's waiting right outside the movie entrance. So I'm just standing there as she's walking to her dad. But then I remember the WikiHow page again and how it said that you need to end a date with a hug or a kiss depending on how the date went. And I know the date definitely wasn't kiss worthy. So I called Julia back and I'm like,
Julia, we need to hug.
and she comes back and gives me a half hug in front of her dad. And I'm looking past her and her dad's giving me the dirtiest look. When we stop hugging, she goes off with her dad and I'm just sitting there at the movie theater waiting for my mom. After that date, we kind of stopped texting and I feel awkward. I feel like I did something wrong. I feel like she hates me. So we kind of just stopped talking entirely. Like I stopped talking to her for a good 2-3 months after that, and it wasn't until like the end of the year that we got stuck together for a group project. And she was like,
Why don't you talk to me anymore?
and I'm like, oh, I thought you hated me. And she's like,
No, stupid, I just didn't want to go on another date with you.
and I'm like, okay. And basically after that, we made up and we've been pretty good friends ever since. And that's pretty much the end of the story. So I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of that long-winded story. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up because that helps yours truly. If you have any first date horror stories, be sure to drop them down in the comments below. Be sure to turn on my post notifications so you know when I post next. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you can get more content like this in the future. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time.